Hello, my name is Kaylee, and welcome to the Academic Support Guide on the Research Question. This video assumes an understanding of rubrics, some analysis, and pre-writing skills like organization or outlining. For more on these subjects, see the resources linked below in this video's description. Research is a journey, but where do you start? When you start to consider a research assignment, before getting overwhelmed with rubrics and words and paragraphs of things to decode, ask yourself a few simple questions before you begin. Take notes and really explore the why, what, and who of your assignment. To find your purpose or your why, because anything written or read is going to have a purpose, hopefully, look for your course objectives. So there might be objectives to the assignment itself, but they're usually connected to objectives for your course. That is goals that you need to meet to prove that you are ready to move on from your course. These are available either on the rubric itself or on your syllabus. So go to your Start Here module in your course and look for your syllabus for some of those reasons why you're writing at the very top. Then you'll have key points, subtopics, or rubric elements. These are involved in outlining the what and in what order are you going to cover your topic. So there's two things going on. You have a way to organize what your course needs you to produce and a way to organize your specific topic. Then you're going to have two who's. Who cares about your topic and who might argue with you? Any topic should be complex enough that it's debatable. So who might disagree with the way that you are presenting this issue or presenting a solution to an issue? When you open a research assignment, you'll see an overview and a prompt. And as I've highlighted here in the middle, these are your whys. So these are the objectives that I need to do: evaluate, utilize, and integrate, um, to prove that I understand the content of my course, basically. Um, look for these, and if they're not on that rubric, again, go to your syllabus and keep them in mind as you start to organize your research journey. Then you might see an actual outline on your rubric, and these are really helpful. We actually recommend copy pasting this into a Word document and keeping little bits of your research in that outline as you go. So I know that I'm going to have this heading at some point and that some information is going to fit under it, my own words and the words of my sources. Then you'll see guidelines for submission. This gives you a sense of how broad or narrow your topic needs to be. For this assignment in front of us, it's only 2 to 3 pages long, so I need to make a really specific topic. I want to be too broad, but I want to be, in that 2 to 3 page area, which you'll figure out as you go. It really is exploratory in nature, and that applies to topic selection. So let's say I want to talk about healthcare reform, or I'm really passionate that the US needs to fix its healthcare system. That's complex enough. I mean, I don't know a lot about how it works. I just know that I want it to be fixed. But that tells me what I don't know as well. And when I don't know something, I can research it. So walking into a research assignment with a hard opinion is not going to get you anywhere. It's not really fun anymore, and it's not really a learning experience. And the point of research is to discover what you don't know. So let's turn this couple of topics maybe into a set of questions instead. When I go from topic to question, the research becomes a lot more open and freeing, and I'm starting that journey curious so I can stay curious and sort of go down the rabbit hole and find my way. So a couple of questions that I might come up with about this topic are: does the US have good healthcare for its citizens, or does the US need healthcare reform? That question is actually called a closed or a closed-ended question. That means I can answer it with a yes or a no. That's too limiting. Even if I only have to write 3 pages, I can give a bullet list of reasons why the US doesn't or does have good healthcare for its citizens. A more fruitful exercise is to take those closed questions and make them open-ended. Using phrasing like "to what effect" or "what do other nations compare" or "how," Those open questions that I can't answer with a yes or a no are going to be more interesting for my exploration. So take a screenshot or a picture of these examples, or look up more open-ended questions, but try to produce a couple of these for your topic as well. And then you'll have nice open research questions to work with. So contrary to popular belief, you can Google things. um, and the library has a really great page called Google Like a Librarian that helps you to mindfully Google something for the purpose of seeing if it's a good option for research at all. You might go through this process of topic closed, open question a few times until you find something that other people are writing and talking about and that is broad or narrow enough. So you can try this page. It's linked in the video's description. Um, it's not required, but this is a way to tap into the pulse of what people are talking about around your questions. Before you begin a research session, so we're about to go into the library and briefly try out one of my research questions about the history of healthcare in the US. Email yourself articles or download them as you go. Set yourself a period of time and really just try to gather first. Stopping and reading is going to be a lot more time consuming than you think. So try to stay on the path of collecting those sources for a set amount of time, maybe half an hour, an hour. This is my research session and I'm just going to gather things. Start your references, your bibliography or works cited early and update it often. I'm going to show you how to cite sources as you're researching. Keep that information. Keep it with your outline or start a separate works cited, but have your sources with you at all times. It's much easier to save it and then not use it than to not save it and be unable to find it later. Rather than reading articles start to finish, pay attention to the sections. Do they align with any of the elements in your rubric or your outline? Um, Reading things start to finish, especially these scholarly articles and the databases that we're unpacking, can be exhausting and you don't really retain all the information. So really look at your articles as sets of pieces and you have to pull those pieces out. Speaking of pieces, keep quotes and paraphrases and cite them. Keep them in your draft and outline as you go. So if I have this piece of information about the history of health insurance, then that's going to fit in maybe my intro background history section of my outline. And then as you're answering this question, you're going to come up with a thesis. So for more on a thesis, please check the description, but this is something that's called a working thesis. It changes as you go. So don't stay married to an answer if you find another source that either develops that answer or maybe even disproves it. Again, if you want to take a screenshot or a photo of this and keep it near you while you do research sessions, it could be helpful. So now we're going to go over to the library and I just want to show you a couple things on this page. So there are so many resources in the Shapiro Library. It really is a great place. And the librarians really are the experts on research. So if you ever get stuck, even if you're doing my process perfectly, it is just mine. So feel free to click that Chat 24/7 with Librarian button on the top right whenever you get stuck, and they'll be happy to help you. Rather than using this big sort of googly multi-search bar, I'm going to actually jump to a specific database that I like to use because I like the tools in it. You can use the multi-search or you can use a different database. They have databases in this list that are subject specific, like business or psychology. So if you want to narrow your search from the beginning by choosing a specific database, go for it. I'm just going to use A to Z, P, and ProQuest Central so that I can use the one that I like and that I like the tools in. So most databases are going to have similar options. This is the way ProQuest looks. You put in a phrase and you can check off full text and peer reviewed. Um, there is more about peer reviewed and different kinds of sources in the description, but basically it just means that other people in the field have reviewed these articles and you can trust them a little bit more than your random Google. Full text means that if I like a title and I want to read it, I can read the whole thing. So you won't get any bits and pieces here. And speaking of bits and pieces, you can see that I have pulled apart my question and made a phrase out of it. I put history of in quotes so that phrase will stay together, healthcare in US. Conversely, if you want to type in your whole question, you can, and you'll get similar results. This is just, again, how I do it. So 772 results, and when I first glance on the right here at my results, they don't really look like what I want. Penalizing hospitals for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease readmissions is probably too niche for my purposes right now. So I'm going to add some filters to it. And those are available kind of below this picture. But as you search around and peruse the tools on any database, you'll see that you'll be able to modify your search or advance it. And you can add really cool things like changing the date, for example, the country, the language, and that can narrow when you have too many results. If you have not enough, again, you can chat with the librarian, or you can think of synonyms or other words for the words you're searching for. So if, for example, I was writing a paper about gun laws, but everybody who's an expert on gun laws uses the phrase firearm restrictions, then I'm never going to find anything. I can also pull from my list of research questions that I made and just try searching something else. So I only added one filter, getting rid of only 200 results here. But you can see how adding a filter breaks things down. If I like this first article, and I think I do, it's brief, so I don't have to read anything long, and it says History of Healthcare in the title. So let's check it out. This is your abstract page. And the most important things on this page is that you can see your author. So if you wanted to read more by that gentleman, you can. You can see the journal he wrote for and examine that journal a little bit more. And then on the bottom right, you can see related items. So if there are other articles like this article, I can gather those as well. So gathering them means sending them to yourself. You can download the PDF. On the right, you see these tool buttons here. Download the PDF, cite it. So that's in our tips. We want to keep track of citation information, the title, the author, etc. You can email it to yourself. I really like to email things to myself and send myself just batches of articles to go through later. You might not like that approach. That's just my approach. So I'm going to email things to myself, and in that pop-up window that you get, you can include citation information. So if I know I have to cite things in MLA or APA format, I can choose that format for my citation, and it will come with the email. So I can always keep track of everything. So thank you. You made it through this video on the research question. And in this video, we approached research assignments from the context of the course using purpose, audience, and methods. We went from topic to research question, opening close questions for more intellectual and research-based freedom. And we began researching the Shapiro library, exploring databases and their tools. See this video's description for more great resources. And thank you so much from Academic Support. We hope to work with you soon.